welcome back to the channel. So as you guys might have noticed, the comment section is not currently active nor working. We ran into this technical issue after I posted the first or the second video, and we're taking care of that with YouTube right now. So they're working on that. So in the meantime, I've been bombarded with questions on other social media pages. So until that is taken care of, I have created a Facebook page and an Instagram page. I will link them below. Go ahead and check them out and leave your comments and questions on those pages until this issue gets fixed with the comments on YouTube. I've been getting a lot of questions since the last couple of videos that I've posted from some of my clients, some of my students, some of the people that saw the videos, and just in general, people that are around me. They've been asking these questions, and I always like to, when they pose a question to me, I always like to ask where they got their information or how did they derive to do something that they did. Because some would be, I would put an activator to activate an energy, and it just, you know, everything hit the fan. Like, okay, where did you get the information that you need to put that specific activator in that specific spot? And they would say, oh, I went on the internet or read some kind of book and it said, you know, put this in that corner and it's gonna attract money, or put that in that corner and it's gonna attract love and, you know, health and so forth. And what they were actually doing, when I came to realize, and very quickly I might add, and let me tell you, anybody who had a proper Feng Shui training, this drives them nuts. This drives them, you guys, this fact drives us crazy when people just go, instead of doing a consultation, they think it's as easy as putting a fountain or lighting a candle. And it can be, when you know how to do it correctly and properly in proper placements for those objects. It can be easy and fun, but when you know what you're doing. So this new age Feng Shui that everybody is doing in the past few years, that's been actually causing a lot of people more harm than good. They just get from the internet or books that they have read. But what they fail to realize is that does not give them the backing, like the history and how that that information got derived, where it actually came from. So if I tell you, you need to put a fountain in certain part of your house, and it's going to bring money in, and you do it, and that's fine. But for me to know, to tell you to put a certain object in a certain part of your house, it takes time. It really takes time. I have to look at the plans. I have to look at how the house is set. I have to look at the energies in your home, the period of the house, the yearly, the monthly, sometimes daily. So there's a lot that goes into it, and a lot of calculations and different type of formulas depending on what you want to bring into your life before anybody, you know, before I can tell you, or any other consultants, properly trained consultant can tell you, you need to take this object and put it there and it's gonna give you this. But just going and placing objects randomly is dangerous, you guys. It's dangerous, and please don't do it unless you know what you're doing. Please consult somebody. So these are the questions that I have chosen to answer just in this video very shortly, because these are the questions that came from people that found something about Feng Shui on the internet or in the book, did it, and it backfired. So I just wanted to go through each one and just kind of briefly explain what went wrong-ish in there. So I hope you guys find this interesting and helpful. And here we go. So the first question that came in was BAGUA or not to BAGUA? Right? It's like Shakespeare, that is the question. So everybody seen the BAGUA map, or most of you guys, at least even without realizing what it was, somewhere you've seen this octagonal shape before. This drives anybody who has been professionally trained in Feng Shui, especially when it comes to the Compass School and the classical Feng Shui in the Compass School, it drives them up the wall. Believe me, it drives everybody up the wall. When people are using this new age Feng Shui, when they get a BAGUA map that they printed off of the internet, got off of the internet, and it always says southeast is a money corner, or southwest is a love and relationships corner, and they start putting these objects there, not understanding why they need to go there. It just says it needs to go there and it's going to attract money or a lot. So they just put an object there. What they don't realize, first of all, they're not using BAGUA map correctly. They're not using it correctly for their house specifically. And they are not taking into consideration that southeast is not always the money corner, and southwest is not always a love corner, and the career corner is not always in the north. And depending on the way the house is laid out, you might have more than one spots in your home where you can attract money or love or health. And they don't realize that because it doesn't sell them. It doesn't sell them, and they don't have a thought of looking a little bit further into it. So they run into trouble right there from the get-go. And BAGUA, for you to put a BAGUA map on the layout of your house, you have to have the measurements, you have to do the work, you have to measure everything precisely in your house, all the walls, all the windows, all the doors. I know it takes time, but to do it correctly, that's what just needs to be done for the things to work properly. The next most common question that comes up is, where is the money section of my house or in my home? Now, I want to say 90% of the people, thanks to the wonders of the internet, southeast, I don't know what it is about the southeast, but it's by New Age Feng Shui, and that's where it is. That's so it says southeast is your always money section, and that's where everybody puts all of their money symbols and pictures and everything, and to attract the money. Problem with that is that not every house is the same. Not every house has the same floor plan. And even if they do have the same floor plan, not every house is facing the same direction. So you cannot just take this generic BAGUA map and apply it to every single household on the planet. You just can't, because this might sound really, I don't know, going against the current here, but the southeast might not even be the money corner for you. It might not be even the money corner for your house or personally for that person. More so, you might have 2 or 3 money corners. Some people who are extremely lucky, they have 4 in their house, depending on how the house is laid out. But most likely, not every single household has a money corner in a southeast. And 80% of the time, it's not in the southeast. Especially when the yellow 5 goes there, then it's definitely, yellow 5 is a destruction energy from the system of flying stars. And if it lands in the money corner section, no, that's gone. So southeast is not always the money corner. This is where you guys need to break away that stereotype, completely strip it, and it's hard to relearn the correct way. I know, I'm aware, I've done these mistakes when I started, I have, but learn something correctly once and it will serve you the rest of your life. It's going to give back. That knowledge is going to give back for the rest of your life. So take a look at your floor plan, what you have drawn out and how you laid the BAGUA map on the plan, and see where the sections are. Also, another thing, the BAGUA is flipped. I know everybody's used to looking at the compass and seeing the north being at the top. When you look at the BAGUA map, it's flipped. So when you apply the 9 to your floor plan, your sections might be moved, because you cannot just take it and apply it. You have to align the sections the way they are inside your house. So what people don't realize is when a consultant goes into a person's house for consultation and does the layout of the house and does all the measurements and applies the BAGUA map to the floor plan of the house. People don't realize that you have to take into consideration the permanent energy of the house, which is your house holds an energy. So when the house is built, and there's two ways of going at this, not to go too deeply, but there's people usually either consider it when new family moves in, that's the period, whatever the period is in, that's the period. Or the second one is when the house is built and the roof is put on top. And that kind of encapsulates the energies inside the house. And they are considered permanent energies of the house. Right now we're in period 8. 8 is in the center of the house. And we are transitioning to period 9. So houses after 2024 that are built after the year 2024 are going to be period 9 houses. Right now we're still in period 8. What happens is, think of the flying stars. There are 9. There's only 9. You have 8 compass directions and 1 in the center. So the permanent energy is always there inside the house. And then you have the yearly flying stars that come in, and they shift every year. They hold their position for 1 year and then they shift. And on top of that, you have your monthly flying stars, which do exactly the same. They come in, they stay a month in one spot, and then they shift. So depending on where and how those stars and which combinations those stars lands in which section creates the energy that is in that sector. When we look at the relationship between the permanent energy, the yearly energy, and the monthly energy, that's how we find out the relationship between those stars and who's causing chaos and whose focus we need to shift away from causing trouble and havoc in your life, or which energy do we need to strengthen in that section by placing something there to activate or boost that energy. This is how we figure out where the money section is, and the relationship section is, and the health section is, and the career corner is. So it is really hard. It is nearly impossible to place a generic map on every household in the world and say, this is how it is. You just need to place, everybody in the universe places one same object in the same spot in their house or in the same corner, and it's going to attract that. It's impossible. It's just not doable, and that's not how it works. So there's a lot of mistakes in that people are making and causing more harm than good. Oh, and the QA number has nothing to do with this. So logically, when they hear my answer to the previous question, their next question is, so how do I find my money corner in my house? You have to measure the walls. You have to do an accurate layout of your house, of your apartment. Even if you're renting a room, of your room, measure your walls in your room, windows, doors. Make a plan on a piece of paper with correct measurements. Lay your BAGUA. And then we'll go from there. Until you have that done, I would not suggest, and I would strongly caution against it, of placing objects in the southeast corner without knowing what's actually in your southeast corner, and if that southeast is actually a good direction for you. The next question I get asked a lot is, how do I attract the financial energy, the money energy into my life if I don't have the floor plan done, the measurements, the BAGUA, I don't know my sectors? Well, you need to know those before activating any other energies. So this falls a little bit under a different system. It's called Batsi. It's still under classical Feng Shui, but it's more to the side of Chinese astrology. It's derived from your birthday. It's your birth chart in Chinese astrology. So all of this I usually put under one umbrella of Chinese metaphysics. What it does is it calculates from your date of birth. Well, let me back up a little bit. It is believed that, and I'm talking about the classical Feng Shui, it is said that you have your heaven luck, your earth luck, and your human luck. So it's a system of 3. So Feng Shui itself, with the placement of things in your house, is your earth luck. It's the whatever is surrounding you at that time in an encapsulated area. So your house, your apartment, your room, and your heaven luck would be your Bastimap, which is derived from your date of birth. So and what it includes in itself is when you're born and you take your first breath, that heaven luck kind of turns on. It tells you all the potential and everything that is in you, that is given to you by the higher ups for you to use in your physical life. And your men luck is pretty much your space, your activators, things that you put, or figurines or pictures or moving objects to attract and move the energy. The biggest activator of any energy is human. It's you. You are the biggest activator of any energy. So when you combine all 3, this is where the law of attraction, your intention, comes in. It's your men's luck, where you have to put an intention into an object for it to work, or you have to put an intention out there, and law of attraction, manifestation, whatever you call it, it's all intertwined. And you use your Feng Shui and the placements to boost and support and pull out that potential from your heaven luck to use in your physical everyday life. Probably I confused you right there. Leave me questions and I can elaborate on that. So the next question is often asked is, how do I know my direction, the facing direction? When we're talking about a house, the facing direction is the front of the house. So think about it, it's the side that is facing the street, or the busiest part of like the busiest part where there's traffic, cars moving the energy, it's moving the energy. So that would be your facing direction. Now the front door facing direction is a little bit different. That can be facing a completely different compass direction than the facing direction of the house. So if you know, like L-shaped houses where you have to go around the garage and all the way around, and you enter completely like 90-degree angle to wherever the garage is, your facing direction is still where the garage is, pretty much. So it's like where the street is. Whatever street the house is facing, that is your facing direction of the house. The facing door direction is completely different thing. Now, what if you live in an apartment building? A lot of times apartment buildings, they have a pretty facing direction to the street, but the entrance can be on the other side of the house. The way I was trained is we take the compass direction of the entrance into the building. Even though it's not facing the street, it's still where the physical human energy walks into the building. And this is the energy we need. It's humans taking all the energy and bringing it into the house. This is how the energy flows into the building. If the door is on the same side as the facing direction of the house, that's perfect. If not, you take the measurement of the actual entrance into the apartment building. The only logical question that people ask me following that answer is, why does it matter? Well, it matters when you're using the space where you live and the energies to manifest things and propel things in your life and attract things. You need to know where that energy is located and how it flows through your living space. For that, you need to know from which direction the energy comes into your living space, into your home. That's why it matters. Usually at this point, when we get all of that out of the way, and by now I know I have a lot of people scratching their heads and going, oh my God, this is not what I've been told, this is not what I have read. And I agree, this is out of the box, and it might, if you have practiced Feng Shui or tried learning Feng Shui on your own, it might go against the current. But I would rather you guys to learn things correctly than doing things the easy way and bringing more harm into your life than good. At this point, people ask me, okay, so until I get my floor plan done and all the measurements done, how can I get the energy moving or prepare or any kind of energy moving inside the house? I feel stagnant. I have a video on that. You're more than welcome to go back and check it out. So in the meantime, what you can do is you can clear out the space. So you can clear out the clutter. Don't leave the garbage bags everywhere. Make sure the first entrance after when you enter your living space is free and clear and bright. Make sure your lamps are all working. Make sure your faucets are not leaking. Besides that, you can sage and just prepared for actual placements and activators and start of your Feng Shui journey. I also get a lot of comments like this. I seem to be doing everything, but nothing's working, and I have my floor plans and my sections and my BAGUA laid out, and it seems everything correctly, and still nothing's working. I would check your floor plan again, and I would check your grid again. I would check the placements of front door, your bedroom, and your work area, because those are the three pretty much pillars that everything kind of stands on. Those are the main things that hold all of this intricate system up in the air. Let's put it this way. And how do you do that is, again, looking at the layout of the BAGUA map and seeing which energies land where in your home. Now, we do take into account three energies: your period energy of the house, your yearly energy, flying stars, and your monthly flying stars. The two that you need to watch out for are the 5 and a 2. I'm not gonna go into depth, but 5 is a destruction energy. We call it yellow 5, and it's a boogeyman of the Feng Shui world, of the especially flying star Feng Shui. It's a boogeyman of that. And it works like this. It comes in and takes things in this order: your finances, your health, and your emotional well-being. So if you are working in a space on your home, if you have a home office, or you're doing your studying, or any kind of work in a sector of the house where the 5 has landed, you're already doing yourself a disservice, because you're sitting right dead smack in the middle of a destruction energy, and it's draining everything out of you. If you're sleeping in the 5, it's taking your health. If you're sleeping in a resting state, it just drains out the energy, your health pretty much. And if your front door is where the 5 is, by you using the front door, the actual movement, physical movement of opening and closing the door, it lets that energy 5 comes in, and you're inviting it into your house again, because 90% of the time your space, your living space, the house, the apartment, wherever you live, the environment around you, the energies in your home affect and support whatever's happening in your life. And most likely, unknowingly, somehow of the energies that are more destructive could have been activated inside your home. And you would need to remedy that situation. You need to correct that situation by placing a cure in one of the sections of your home. When people hear this, they don't realize how closely the energies are intertwined of what actually is manifesting in their life, what's happening in their life, and how their living space affects them. So it's always an aha moment for them, like a light bulb comes on when they figure out what needs to be tweaked. And if they remedy that correctly, everything comes back to normal, and most of the time it comes back even better in the positive way. Like any new subject, this seems very tough at first. As you get deeper into it, it becomes like a second nature to you. You will see things differently, you will feel things differently, you will notice things you have never noticed before. Another question that comes up often is how to neutralize or activate the energies. Very important to know that before you start placing objects and turning things on and off, you need to know exactly what you're doing as far as the location, the object, and the placement of that object. Don't put it just, this is like a disclaimer, I guess. Don't put it just anywhere and think it's gonna work. You have to have a layout of your house. I cannot stress that strongly enough. Anybody that goes to a consultant and they don't ask about the floor plan, the layout of the house, and they don't check the period of the house, the yearly energies and the monthly energies, I would say, find somebody else to do a consultation, because it's very, very important, and that's what it's all based on. Because you cannot just give, general advice like this to everybody. I cannot say you need to take this object and place it over here without seeing the layout of your home. Don't just go activating things right and left. But to briefly touch on how to activate things, you can use multiple objects. And very frequently we use candles, we use a fan. You can either use an aquarium or a fountain. And when I say aquarium, it's the ones with a pump, so like the aerator, because you need the movement of water. But mostly we just suggest the fountain. And a note on the fountain: when you are using a fountain as an activator, make sure the water runs from top to bottom, so it doesn't do these 90-degree angles, so the water doesn't come out. You want an even flow, because when the water comes up, the energy changes its direction, and you don't want that. Pictures can be used. There's a whole bunch of things that can be used as an activator. But as far as using objects to activate, those would be the main ones that come to mind right away. But don't go activating things right and left. Do your basic homework first. Make sure your bases are covered. Get the house plan done and figure out the directions and your facing direction and your sitting direction, and move from there. Right after the activators question, I always get the question, so my Kwa number's 1, or my Kwa number's 2, my Kwa number's 8. Kwa number has nothing to do with the flying stars. It is a little bit different system. This is more of a Chinese astrology, or you might know it as 4 pillars of luck. It is the system that is based on your date of birth. We calculate at your natal chart, like in Western astrology, you have a natal chart that's calculated where the sun and the moon and all the planets are at your time of birth. Same as, Chinese astrology and Eastern astrology. At the time of birth and at the hour, you have energies that are turned on. It's the potential that is inlaid within you. It's given to you by the universe at the time of your birth for you to use. Problem is, they just didn't give you the directions. So you kind of stumble upon things during your life and learn your life lessons. So with this, you'll be able to know what field you'll be more successful in with a job. Should you own a business or work for somebody? Lucky years are when your dangerous years are. Potential for accidents, potential for harmful time periods. And it's really good to know, because you can avoid those. Plan ahead. You can find your personal best elements. And note on the best element. The best element for the house and the best element, the one that's like for you as a person, are 2 different things as well. When to be careful, which years to be careful, in which years are lucky for you, what element you need to bring into your life to boost a certain type of energy, what element you need to bring into your life to balance another kind of energy. So there's a lot of things that you can do with it. So all of this Feng Shui and everything, I just kind of label it under Chinese metaphysics, just because I work with other different systems, and this is my way of compartmentalizing it. My Reiki is by another box, and mediumship is a 3rd box. But on the other note, I want to let you guys know that you would be blown away to know that law of attraction is so tightly weaved into, and when you're activating energies, it is insane. There's a lot of information for you guys to learn. Don't be scared to try something new. It is not hard. I always say it's as hard as you want to make it and as easy as you want to make it. It's a very logical system. Once you learn the basics, it will all fall into place, I promise you. I hope this video answered some of your questions. If not, leave them in the comments below, or if they're still not working, head over to my Instagram and Facebook and leave them there. I will answer them gladly. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, click the notification button, the little bell, to get notified when I post new videos. And I'll see you soon.